All right, fellas, welcome to our Ignite meeting. And today we have an Ignite member that's going to cover some things on the cresting side. And so, Kramer, Harlow, take it away.
Awesome. Well, as Dr. Fauci says, good to be with you, gentlemen. And we're going to just hop in to some coloring. I'm going to show a few different examples of some orders that may come through on our end from a cresting leads end, and show you guys what coloring an order looks like, that process, and a couple pain points that we will run into occasionally along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Are you guys seeing a Word document?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were nodding along on that one.
All right. So we're going to start off with just a basic club color order. And the first window that we're going to pull up is this embroidery window within the M-Track home screen. This is where our team colors orders out of, is from the embroidery window. And I'm going to be hitting get one to grab a single order, fill it into the first box, and hit OK. Let's jump in. So as you can see, this is a order with Seabrook Island Club as the logo on it. And the first thing we do anytime we jump into an order is click this match button here. And basically what match does is it matches the work order to that particular logo ID on file. So it says match design 52150 to the work order. I'm going to hit yes. And then you can see that when I hit yes, now it's loaded in this logo ID's color card. So you guys may hear our artwork coordinators or our cresting leads from time to time refer to club coloring as color cards. Do we have a color card set up? Do we need to edit the color card? This is what that's referring to right here. So as we take a look at this order, there's a few things we can kind of do and prioritize, like when we're coloring an order. But first thing I often like to do is go over here to this customer detail window. And this is where the notes that the specialist is going to put in when decorating the work order are going to come through, whether those be sales order notes or whether those be decoration notes that would show up here or down below. And as you can see, just toggling through, there's no notes on this order. So the next thing I'm going to be looking to is what they're wanting it colored as. It's club all the way down on every style. So my next step at this point is going to be going into our editor screen. So right now, as you can see, I'm in the work order information screen. I'm going to toggle through to the editor screen. And this is where we actually do the hands-on coloring from. There's a couple different ways I could color this work order. I could bring my mouse down here into the first stop, and I could go ahead and plug in every thread color that I see and go on down the line. But since this is a club order and there's no specific call outs or anything in the notes, I can actually do this button right up here, CC to rows, which means club colors to rows, and it's just going to populate this color card all the way through with all the stops with every style in this order. So you can see that it just loaded the club colors there. Mikey's giving me a standing ovation. And now, as you can see, I've put my cursor here, and I'm just gonna kind of go down through each of the styles on this order and just verify. And the biggest thing I'm looking for here is just if there's any styles that look, you know, I think we could switch up the lettering here, because as you can see in the notes of this color card over here on the far left of the screen, it says on darks, stops 5 and 6 change to tan, 1082. So once again, I'm going to be scrolling through, and basically anything that's considered a dark, which as I pull up the color palette for this style over here on this left, I would consider this one a dark since its primary color is white. That's what's going to pop off the garment the most. So this one I would go ahead and change these last two stops, 5 and 6, to 1082. And we're just going to do that down through the work order. So this can be one of those things that's, you know, these purple styles, as you can see, it could kind of lean either way almost. I think the green would pop on it. I also think the tan would pop well off the garment. But I'm going to lean tan. And then this one's a black garment. Or I'm sorry, not black. Looks to be a dark navy blue there on the sleeve. So once again, change those last two stops to tan, and that should pop off the garment well. So then I'll just scroll back up through them one last time, give it a check, and these look good. Now, once the order's colored, all the stops are in, I'm going to go back to the work order information screen and just hit this finish button right there. And then once that grays out, you know that the work order has been finished, and it's going to advance to the next stage for C&W. So that was order number 1, just a nice, clean, simple, for the most part, club color order. This next one, we don't come across these very often. I would say the most popular coloring we come across is club or color coordinate. But just wanted to show this one. It shouldn't take too long, but it's just a match to garment work order. And so once again, we pull into the work order. We hit match. Now it's matched the logo here to the work order. Scroll through the notes. I'm not seeing any specific call outs there. And then we see this match to garment. So to find that.
Just a little snag on the way here as Kramer's going through his process of match the garment. He's moving along on the next one. I feel bad. I think his audio was kind of cutting out, but so it looks like we got a pretty good look as to what the colors do, artwork coordinators are doing in that sense of club colors, how they pop the logo. I guess I didn't realize that was the case, because sometimes I always thought club colors, they just go down, hit the match, and it goes all the way down. But they do a lot of specifications, which is kind of nice. And then match the garment, obviously. We don't see that often, which is kind of cool. And Kramer was explaining that piece of it. So I think he's coming back online.
Apologies, team. I don't know what happened there, but the phone audio dropped on me,
That's okay. No
as
worries.
often seems to happen on Zoom.
Oh yeah.
We're on a roll,
Something
too.
always goes haywire.
Hey, no
So
worries.
where was I when my audio dropped out?
Match to garment, I believe.
Middle.
Yeah, we're still working on match to garment. It was right as you were about to put the colors on there.
Okay. So let me just pull match to garment up one more time, just
Yep.
so that you get the audio on what I was explaining there. So as I was saying, match to garment, you know, it's not a common request that we get, but just wanted to show it to the team for visibility. You know, what we're looking at is basically just pulling up the color palette for each style, and then just targeting, you know, where that match to garment thread color is, plugging it in, and then finishing the work order. So that one's been colored, it's good to go. And then the next one we're gonna roll through here is a specify work order.
You want to share your screen again?
Oh, yes. Geez, I'm all sorts of rattled.
No worries.
You're good.
Okay, are you guys seeing MTrack? Okay. So this next one is a specify work order. So we're gonna go ahead and match the ID to the work order. And as I toggle through the notes over here, you're gonna see in the decoration notes, this is where the specialist has gone ahead and input the coloring directions for this order. And you can see that they show up here up in this window, and then they also show up down here on a line per line basis. Just a quick call out, just to kind of show you guys for visibility sakes with MTrack. The other window I can pull within this customer detail box over here is this shipping account tab. And this is just a quick way that we can take a look at, you know, who the customer is on this particular order. If we have any questions, if we need to reach out to the rep. So I've matched it to the work order. I'm going to go into the editor screen and just color this per the directions. So all white. Basically, when I put white in that first stop there, which is 2297R, I can double click this little one box right here, and it'll just pull that thread color down through all of the stops. And the only other one that's not white on this order looks to be the second line item style here, which would make sense because it's a white garment. And so I'm going to pull that up, and this one just requests CRD, color coordinate, which is just going to be this primary color, which is black. So I'll put in black, and then I'll just go ahead and scroll up through all of the styles on this work order, and that one's looking good. So I'll go ahead and go back.
I got a quick
finish.
question here. Sorry to interject.
Yes.
But one that
worries.
I know I've gotten a lot from accounts and reps over the past years is when they kind of throw in like a seasonal type color and specify, and how you guys would look at that. So one that I saw recently was they said photo blue, which I don't know if it's a certain PMS color, but how would you guys look at something like that when it's kind of a unique color, or like a I want to say like a teal or something like that that pops up that's fairly unique. How would you guys look at that?
Yeah, good question, Mikey. When one of the Nike colors is called out, that's something that we can handle pretty easily, because we actually have the seasonal color palettes for dating back in one of our shared drives. So basically we'll just go into that shared drive, be able to pull that document and identify what it is that color is that they're requesting. Where it gets a little bit more tricky is just the more generic or non-specified it is, like if it just says sky blue and tree trunk brown, or some other type of, we'll walk through one in a little bit here, where it's a type of color and they've called it out, but like it's not recognizable as a Nike like seasonal color. So good question there. But that's something that we're usually able to pretty easily find the thread color for.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for the question. Okay, so this next one's going to be our first color coordinate order. And it's also going to have CADs requested. So a couple of new things here that I'll be walking through. So we're going to pull up this Stonebriar logoed order. As you can see, I've already matched it to this work order because the match is grayed out there. So I'm ready to just go ahead and hop into coloring this thing. And as I'm toggling through here, there's a couple places where CADs may be requested from the specialist end, and that could be in the decoration notes, or probably more often we see it in the sales order notes here. As you can see with this one, it says CADs and then the account's email. So very
quick,
helpful. So yeah.
One question, what's the, where do you like to see the CAD request at? I mean, obviously it's in the sales work order and we've always been taught to place it in there. Would you rather see it in the decoration notes if there's no, it can get a little cramped sometimes if you're adding a bunch and then at the end you put the CAD request.
Yeah, I would probably lean towards sales order.
Okay.
Seeing the CAD request note in the sales order. Just mostly, I mean, it doesn't really make too big of a difference from our end. Like we're going to see it either way. But if there happens to be decoration notes like that are about the specific coloring of the order, as you said, that could get a little bit like messy in there, or it could get lost in there. So just keeping it separate in the sales order notes would probably be ideal.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to go into the editor tab, and as you can see, looking down here at the notes for this color card, it says color coordinate 2 color logo 1 3 4 equal first 2 equals match. So this is oftentimes the color coordinate theory will appear like this, where it designates which stops are going to be which part of the palette. So I'll kind of go through just on this first style, and I'll pull up the color palette and see that the match to garment's 1045, and the first color is going to be 2297, that white. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 2297 for styles 1, 3, and 4, and then that 1045M for stop 2, and you can see up here in the corner that it has colored this order correctly. So a quick way, once again, that I'll color an order like this is just double clicking through these stops to pull this white down. I'm just hedging my bets on that, you know, the primary for a lot of these styles on this order is going to be white. So once I've done that, I can just go through on a style per style basis, and I'm just pulling the color cards to see what that matches. 1020. So this is a particularly interesting style that I'll just call out really quickly. As you can see, the color code that's been requested for most of these styles is CRD, meaning color coordinate. But for these two styles, the 693 and 382, it's CRH. And as I pull down the screen here, you can see all the different codes that could be requested: club, color coordinate high visibility, color coordinate low vis, fixed, match to garment, match to swoosh, or specify. With this one being CRH, that means they're really wanting it to pop off the garment. Like, they don't want to mess with it potentially getting lost in the color of the garment. So, you know, this white, I think it looks a little bit close to that lighter orange in some of these parts of the logo, but just having colored for this style before, I think it will pop off well enough. But for this one, I'm a little bit more concerned. And as I go into its color palette, you're going to see that its swoosh color is 1291. So I'm just going to try that kind of dark turquoise type color to see, you know, and kind of compare how that's going to pop on the garment compared to that white. And as you can see, it looks like it's going to pop much better than that white would have. So we're going to go ahead and color it with that, even though that wasn't the primary that was listed. You know, sometimes we as a cresting lead may just make that call if we see CRH there. So this is a white style, so it's going to be kind of reversed there. A little orange style, 1254 for the match. $10.17 for the match. $10.45, and this should be $10.45 as well. It's the same colorway. Yep. So I'm just gonna scroll up through these. They're looking good. And this one with CADs having been requested, I'm gonna show you guys how we send a CAD really quick. So I'm gonna copy the account's email. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save on the work order. Now I'm gonna go up to this additional button, hit that, and I'm gonna see this CAD proof plugin button. I'm gonna click on that. And as you can see, the sales rep and specialist populate. When it's one like this, and we've got, you know, the customer accounts email and the rep, we can take the specialist off until, you know, if there's something where the rep gets to us and says, hey, we need to change it to this logo ID or change the placement on this one to that, we can pull them back in. But just saves the specialist from getting overloaded with coloring related emails that they don't need to be on. So that one, as you can see, it didn't populate the first time. Sometimes that'll just happen with M-Track. It'll glitch out a little bit, but this time it appears to have generated the CAD. I'm going to right click on that attachment and hit view. And I'm just going to scroll down through these styles and make sure that these images are pulling. And as you can see, some of these whites, like they're looking like they might not pop, but sometimes that's just the digital artwork. It doesn't, you know, show like it's going to pop quite as well as it really will in person. So this CAD's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and toss that accounts email in there, copy myself on it, and then hit send. And then the last thing we'll do, just to keep a record, is just note that CADs were sent with the date and our username. And then instead of finishing that work order, I'm going to save it and exit it so that I can color it at a later date.
Cool.
Pending approval.
Cool.
Any questions on that?
I think that's good, Crane. A lot of great information there. We are getting a little bit over our time, a lot there. Maybe we can do another part 2 of the coloring piece of it, but I think we covered quite a bit, and I think a lot of this information is going to pertain to our team when it comes to how a work order's colored. But it's just not just a click and go. There can be some things that are specialized and are specified in some of those logos that I don't think that all of us, one, really knew, and two, really appreciated the fact that when you do pop a logo with color high visibility, that just because it says high visibility and those other ones have color coordinate, you have to really go in and kind of adjust things. So that's cool to see that. So appreciate that.
Definitely.
Cool. On
Thanks,
that end,
Joe.
thanks very much.
Good
Maybe
job,
we
Ray.
can definitely continue this session. But we do have a part 1 going, so I really appreciate that. And obviously, for all the hard work that you guys do, I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.